Listening's over.
Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here with Shugghead Gaming, and welcome to my review for Apex Construct, developed by Fast Travel Games and released digitally February 20th, 2018. Apex Construct retails for approximately $35 American and is soon to get a physical release this June. Travel to the shattered future of Apex Construct, where merciless robots prowl the world as a result of mankind's reckless experiments. As these synthetic creatures seek to dominate their new hunting grounds, you must use both your wits and combat skills to survive. In this atmospheric first-person action-adventure game built exclusively for VR, the fate of mankind rests on you, the last human alive. Does this highly ambitious VR game deliver on our expectations? Let's find out. As always, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more PSVR content from me, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon for notifications of new content. As always, graphics are up first. Apex Construct, when it launched this past February, was already a nice looking game. As a title designed at the outset to be a VR action-adventure game, you can tell that some smart decisions were made to strike a happy balance of current-gen graphics and the inherent limitations of Sony's current system. As such, the almost Dishonored meets Prey graphic choice, mixed with some smart level design, creates a game that plays well, but doesn't hurt the eyes either. Over the past 3 months, some additional patches have helped smooth out the graphics even further, with the PS4 Pro getting a nice reduction in jagged edges, with some improved anti-aliasing and an overall improvement in resolution. As with these graphical choices, draw distance is very solid and works fine within the distances that the world opens up to. There are some nice vertical elements in the level design, and the feeling of looking down at a place that you previously walked through is fantastic and feels authentic. This is helped with some tasteful use of lighting, shadow, and particle effects used throughout the levels, and are at their most impressive back at your home base. Like I mentioned previously, the graphics aren't quite going for a real-world feel, but instead aim for more of a stylized art design. This works really well in VR and should be observed by other developers in the future. Your character's hands and weaponry all look great and animate in nice ways. Your bow shield combo visually feels awesome, and special mention to the heads-up arm display that serves a similar purpose as Fallout's Pip-Boy. It looks awesome in VR, and while fun to interact with, it's also very practical. All in all, the attention to your personal equipment gives the game a higher-end feel and that of a quality AAA VR title. Enemies, while looking like Boston Dynamics took a spin at Horizon Zero Dawn creatures, look very cool, and they animate well as they slink and run around. They omit an almost personality to them, and this adds a lot to the overall feel of the game. I wish there was more creature variety though, with more variety in combat strategies, but I guess that's what sequels are for. The overall look of the game is very metallic and cold, with splashes of green and blue from the natural environment bleeding into this post-apocalyptic world. If I had one real complaint of the graphics, it would be the lack of variety in the levels. The world is broken up into segments consisting of metallic building interiors, server rooms, and pieces of rubbled city streets. Even if a bit claustrophobic at times, it looks good, but over the course of the 5-hour campaign, and with repeated trips back and forth throughout the levels, things start to look a little bit similar, and I found myself hoping for a change of scenery. And that takes us to sound.
My readings are muddled, so you'll have to investigate manually. What is that thing?
Apex Construct actually has one of the best sound designs and sound implementation of any standalone VR game on the PSVR to date. It does have some frustrating hiccups I wish had been patched. However, these don't ruin this otherwise fantastic sound package, and it truly sets the bar for other VR studios to follow. The early standout in the game is the attention to detail and the time put into creating a fully immersive soundscape. Everything from your hand gyros and bow sounds to the clicking of robot feet in the distance really helped to bring you into the world and give the game a sense of quality. Voice acting is another huge standout, with your frequent one-sided conversations with Father, the dominant AI in the game, feeling epic, important, and authentic. World sounds and the use of 3D audio is mostly well done, with both offering a sense of living in the world. The cold mechanical world coming into conflict with the natural world fills the game world with ventilation systems and computerized sounds being also deafening at times, then suddenly fading into birds trickling water and the lonely ticking of a traffic light when you walk outside. When it works, it works. Unfortunately, this is also the only real sore spot in the sound mix, for at times I found the sound design failed me, and I would be left walking outside only to have the world sounds drop out suddenly, only to return in random pieces as I progressed. This definitely hurt the overall experience, and I'm honestly shocked it hasn't been patched in at this point. Other nitpicks would be the lack of footstep sounds of your character, and some added variety to the overall sound palette to make the world a little more interesting as I progressed. Finally, music in the game is done well, but used sparingly, as it is mainly reserved for more intense moments of conflict. The use of music to ramp up these moments works well, not only to elevate tension, but also to notify you of impending robot attacks. Further to this, the lack of music in the majority of the game was a wise choice, as it helps to drive home that sense of isolation and loneliness of this post-apocalyptic world, and instead it leaves you with the audio shadows of what remains of this world. Next up is gameplay. Once you get past the early introduction and tutorial stuff, you'll find yourself set up in your home base of operations. From here, you will track collectibles, upgrade your character, and depart from missions. Missions will have you exploring parts of the maps for keycards, info, and collectibles strewn about. The majority of the 5-hour, 12-mission campaign is about gaining access to areas to progress the story and trying to stay alive from the frequent attacks of the robot inhabitants. The puzzle aspects of the game are fairly basic and mainly consist of you physically searching for and reading databases for the required access codes to open locked areas. This isn't super exciting, but if you're into the narrative, it can be interesting to piece together what happened in this world, while you also search for access codes. It's never too difficult to advance, and I found progress and pacing of the game just fine. At first glance, you might be tricked into thinking this is a huge game filled with a multitude of missions spread across a large map. It's by no means a small game, but you will find out quickly that the locked doors you come across will be revisited in future missions to gain access to previously restricted areas. It's because of this that the game can feel a little padded, as I found myself walking similar areas throughout the campaign. However, this is mixed up enough with newer areas and boss fights to keep it from getting too stale, and the randomness of combat upon revisiting areas helped too. Speaking of combat, it's fun. Yes, the robots could be more varied in both design and combat techniques, but the bow mechanics are spot on and a lot of fun to use and get better at. There was something so satisfying about nailing that perfect arc across the level, right into the glowing face of a robot creature. Your bow is your primary source of weaponry and comes complete with a built-in energy shield. Both can be upgraded along with the multitude of ammo types you will unlock. Your weaponry will be completed with the use of a few types of consumable grenades and health pickups to keep you alive. Consumables can be replenished throughout the levels at vending machines and are purchased using RP points, which you gather from fallen enemies. It's also the same RP that will be used to upgrade your weapons, so spend wisely. I love movement options in games so that the player can decide what type of experience they want. Apex Construct again delivers with the ability to sit or stand, and the choice between full teleportation or full locomotion with click turning and smooth turning options. Motion sickness should be a minimum with these choices, and the game also offers movement blinders if you need a little extra help. You will, however, need 2 motion controllers to play this and a moderate amount of space, as this is very much a VR game and will require you to use both hands to interact with the world and your weaponry. Special note, Apex Construct has the ability to walk and to run when in full locomotion. This is a part of games that I wish was in every VR game, as I get very tired of the slow walk through levels. Tracking is decent, and as often the case with PSVR games that really utilize full movement and both move controllers, it's as good as the PSVR tracking and move controllers with their inherent limitations can be. I won't lie, you will encounter some issues when opening doors and typing on keyboards. It's not game breaking, but as the same with combat, especially when it gets hectic, I recommend standing for the best tracking experience. The movement and controls, just as with games like Solace Project, Skyrim, and Killing Floor, just to name a few, does require some patience as you find out how to best make the game and PSVR hardware work for you. And that brings us to fun factor and my final verdict. Unless I'm forgetting something, this is the only VR exclusive action adventure game on the PSVR. With its world building, interesting story, and full movement combat system, this is easily one of the most ambitious PSVR games attempted to date. And not just attempted, but in most cases succeeds. Yes, the story could be a little deeper, and there could be a bit more variety in the level design and combat situations. But outside of a few audio and tracking issues, Apex Construct succeeds in almost every other way. This is a story you will want to experience. This is a world you will want to explore. And more importantly, this is a game you will have fun playing. PSVR and VR in general is still not at the point where it's delivering AAA action adventure games on the same level as Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War 4. But with games like Apex Construct making strides like this to deliver original VR content and the same playing field as these games, the future is exciting. I hope we look back at this ambitious title years from now and appreciate a game that strived to set the benchmark higher. As always, I rate games on a scale of buy, wait for a sale, or burn it to the ground. This is a buy for me. PSVR owners complain that we don't get many full games and that many VR titles are too short and feel like tech demos. Well, people, here you go. If you haven't bought this game yet, check out the recently released demo in the PSN store, then go pick up a copy either digitally or soon on physical media. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. If you liked that video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more PSVR content from me, please consider subscribing. And for updates, hit that bell icon. That's it for me, guys. I am Chris, and I will check you on my next video.